In section 13-4, we are going to be paying and recording the withholding and payroll taxes. So it's important to know that employers obviously must pay the money that is owed to the federal and state and local government for what they withhold from payroll and also their portion of what they owe for payroll taxes. So when you actually pay the government, this is referred to as a deposit. So how often companies make the deposits really varies on how much money the company makes. So it is determined by something called a look-back period. So on June 30th, they'll look back 12 months and determine how much money they made. That will tell them how often they need to pay the following year. So just a quick review of the different journal entries that we've had up to this point. So in the journal entry from 13-1, we paid cash for the semi-monthly payroll. So on December 15th, we paid cash for this semi-monthly payroll. We had the 15th of the month. We debited salary expense. We had a check number since we're writing a check. We had our total earnings. We calculated the amount we actually paid to our employees by taking our total earnings, $8,076.75, and subtracted all of our credited accounts. So all of those payable accounts, we took those out of the total earnings, and that's how much we actually wrote a check for. So that is what we did in 13-1. In 13-2, we journalized the employer payroll taxes. So in 13-2, we were in the general journal and we recorded all of the items that the employer has to pay. So the employer has to pay the total of Social Security, Medicare, unemployment tax, federal, and state. All four of those items combined gives you the total payroll taxes expense. So that was in 13-2. So we had 13-1, we had our employee portion. In 13-2, we have our employer portion. Now in 13-4, we need to pay the employer portion. So now we are paying the liability that the employer has. So the employer needs to pay the government the federal income tax withheld, as well as the Social Security tax and Medicare tax. So those three things all need to be paid by the employer. All of those payables added together is how much we actually need to write a check for, check 748. We need to also write a separate check for federal unemployment tax. So it's its own journal entry, unemployment tax payable, federal. We debit the payable, credit cash. We'll do the same journal entry for state unemployment. 31st of the month, debit state unemployment payable, and credit cash for that amount. So in 13-4, we have three journal entries, all in the cash payments journal, where the employer is paying what they owe to the government. And that is section 13-4.